Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the semifinal match between Full Service Plumbing Co. and Don't Go Top. I'm Justice.
And I'm Daniel Eichler. How are you doing today, Justice?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, Daniel?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. We're already getting into the draft over here at Risen Premade Semifinals, and we got some pretty exciting gameplay by the looks of it. I'm already seeing some pretty interesting bands coming out. You see the same?
I do. The Senna band coming through, one of the strongest champs in the meta right now, not particularly surprising.
Yeah. As well as the Vladimir and Shen, mainly targeting the top lane pool there from DGT. I guess they've seen a lot of carry performances from Exalted Pig. I guess so.
That could be the case. The Swain coming through. I don't know if that's a personal ban, maybe a counter pick or something often played by one of the members of Don't Go Top. Same with the Jin and the MF. Not particularly popular bands usually, but
Yeah, I wouldn't really give them either S or A tier AD carry spots. Generally it's Caitlyn, Ashe, Senna, and we already see Ashe be picked up, but it's actually going to be the Hecarim first pick for SSPC. I guess that's more of a flavor pick there for their jungle. Pretty good carry performance, but playing into the Graves might be a little bit worrying right there. Graves is very, very strong in the meta. However, doesn't have as strong of ganks early, so maybe Hecarim can make something happen a little bit right there,
Yeah, and with the utility AD carry and the potential carry jungler from DGT, it makes me wonder if they're going to play through their top side or go for one of those carry jungle type teams where they put a lot of resources under the Graves.
Yeah, either way, I would like to see a little bit more priority picked up in the lanes there for DGT. Something like maybe a Karma mid or really something that can take control of the early game, get some scuttle prio for that Graves and make him win that. But it's actually going to be Caitlyn Leona picked up here for the bottom lane for FSPC, as they probably should. Probably going to see the support picked over here from DGT. I think Morgana would be pretty decent right here. But yeah, Caitlyn Leona, that is some heavy engage. That is, you are looking to fight and you are looking to kill that enemy laner. Really interesting stuff.
Exactly, especially on an immobile champion like Ashe. Ooh, the Maokai comes through.
Ooh.
Interesting, but I'll get to that in a second. But on an immobile champion like the Ashe, if the Leona lands the E, you are dead. We might see cleanse come on the Ashe here to potentially get around one of the CCs from FSPC's bot lane, but otherwise it's quite the strong duo lane that Plumbing Co. got for themselves. And that Maokai, what I was going to say is that could be a support or top flex. I have seen some interesting things done with the Maokai. So.
Yeah, I know he's actually one of the more popular supports there in the bottom lane at the moment, and his Q is actually really good disengage there for that Leona. She tries to go in. It's very similar to, like a Thresh Flay, right? Just smack him out of it, do a little bit of damage, and you can even use your own W to engage there if you want. But we are getting the second phase of bans right now, and already we're seeing a lot of mid lane targeted and a little bit more top lane coming out there for DGT. Neither of these lanes, aside from the Maokai flex, have really picked up either of their solo lane champions. Pretty good for them, considering how strong it is getting the counter pick in solo lanes in the current meta. But yeah, seeing a lot of mid lane bans, a lot of top lane bans, and those AD carry bans you saw earlier. But Set be banned out as well. Are we seeing a lot of top lane Set in the meta right now?
I still see it fairly often. I think Set's still a pretty strong top laner. His passive synergizing with the melee Bork is still really good. He's just quite a good A tier champion, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, here, in my opinion, I think it means that for FSPC, they're probably going to be going for a health-heavy sort of tank. Maybe they might be going for someone like a Cho'Gath or someone else that would have a rougher time there into that set. But Yoni actually picked up here for the mid lane for DGT. Very, very strong in the meta right now. Do you agree?
I do agree. I also think he's actually a mid-top flex. I think he has winning lanes into a lot of top laners if you're willing to take him up there. So if you get a counter pick of Yone in the top.
Yeah, it looks like it. But I am seeing a note in the chat that maybe that's supposed to be an Echo instead of the Yoni. I believe they may have just accidentally picked that up right there. But yeah, what's not supposed to be picked up right there is the Malphite, actually, for the top lane. Big old tanky boy, a lot of magic damage, and be very, very difficult into the double 80 carry for you right there. Really interesting stuff.
And the Sylas mid is the last pick of FSPC. I definitely see their team, the insane engage between Malphite, Leona, Hecarim, and whatever ultimate. Sylas stealing a Maokai ult, that is some ridiculous CC at very long range that they've got on the side of FSPC. I don't know how much follow-up they'll have. Obviously the Caitlyn, but they do sort of lack damage with Leona, Malphite, and Hecarim isn't really a carry jungler. Those damage isn't to be laughed at. So I think their team fight, being able to execute on their engage, relies a lot on how ahead they are. I think if their comp gets ahead, they can snowball into infinity, but if they get behind, they may struggle to actually get kills in the fights. The final pick from DGT is the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Mordekaiser is actually a really good pick there into that Malphite. It's going to force him to build some magic resist early, something he doesn't obviously want to itemize into very much, but it's also going to set him behind a little bit more when it comes to stacking all that armor that he's really going to want to be doing against that double 80 carry. But yeah, look at these team comps right here. I definitely like FSBC's team comp a lot more. Can you guess why?
Is it because it's a little more coherent than DGT's?
Yeah, a lot of reasons, really. But, at this kind of a level, I think it's also a little bit easier to execute rather than DGT's. With DGT, right? You're kind of looking for the engage with the Asher. It's more of like a pick comp where you're not actually looking for a full team fight. Just let Graves take everything and let you solo win the game. Let your winning lanes try to play through top lane a little bit, I guess, but you kind of want to have priority in the bot lane, but then your jungler really is trying to gank. Whereas FSPC, they're just like, all right, hit 15 minutes, hit R on the enemy team. Let's do it. That's exactly what I want to do, and I think they should have an easy time doing it this game.
I agree with you that FSPC has the advantage coming out of draft, but I do see the point of DGT's comp. FSPC wants to 5v5 with their comp. They have a very strong, just death ball team comp. But I think DGT having the Ash Arrow, the Maokai ult, and the Mordekaiser ult, they've got a lot of long-range CC, and the Yone ult to a degree. So I feel like they do have a pretty okay team comp when it comes to picking apart and splitting up FSPC, especially the Mordekaiser. So I think they do have a chance going on here if they can just pick people off, secure themselves a lead, and stop FSPC from getting any momentum and building up real strong 5v5s against them. I think they have a pretty solid chance to take this for themselves.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We do have a lot of winning lanes, a lot of really interesting tools to be working with on DGT, as well as a lot of early power there in that Graves, especially over the Hecarim kind of matchup. But at the same time, I feel like unless you get a significant lead early, you're just going to get to the point where FSPC, they have a lot of really good team fight engage ultimates, and DGT, they have really no real disengage on their team. Like, what can you do to stop the Malphite ultimate, right? It's unstoppable by nature, Leona ultimate, that's just going to hit you, Ashe, unless she takes the cleanse, she's really not going to have a lot of tools to be working with right here. I think FSPC are going to have a much easier time, and DGT, this is technically a 5-game series, so if you are the better team, maybe we have something to be showing us right here,
I agree with you there. I think Maokai isn't really a champion that can build Mikhails, unfortunately, or that would be a good item pickup in this situation. Maybe for DGT, they could have gone with a bit of a Morgana in the bot lane, and maybe a Galio in the mid lane instead of the Yone. Might have given them a bit of a better team comp, but it's a little late for that now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're going through these second bans, and we basically already talked a lot about how these how do we expect team fights to go down. We've given the predictions for this game, but generally within the first game, you learn a lot about what these teams' play styles are kind of looking like, where they like to play around their strengths, and maybe we're seeing something from this play styles from these comps, right? Look at the mid lane. We have a carry mid laner here for both these guys. I do think the Echo says a little bit more about how you prefer to come at the game rather than the Sylas. I feel like the Sylas has a lot more utility rather than the Echo. You're betting a lot more on that kind of a guy. So maybe we might see Little Dizzy try to play through mid lane in Wilderness a lot more. I think that the Echo could definitely open up a lot of things here for this team if he is able to get a little bit of a lead early, They really have no consistent source of DPS other than the Caitlyn and maybe the Hecarim, this team. So him getting on the Caitlyn, getting into a pick, could be pretty massive for this team. Would you agree?
I do agree with that. And I also think that as far as with the carry mid laners coming through for both teams, I think if the bot lane were to just stabilize and there was, say, a 3v3 top lane between mid-top jungle over something like Rift Herald, I think DGT actually has the advantage in that situation with the Graves, Sylas, and Graves, Echo, and Mordekaiser. I think that might be what they're looking for, because like I was saying, you have a very safe bot lane with Ashe and with Maokai. So it might just be like Graves and Echo just trying to maybe split the map in half and just run down everyone as a duo and get those two very far ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. Other than that, we are going to get into the spectator delay here in just a moment. You have any other final thoughts before we get into this?
Yes, one thing I'd like to touch on. It's going to be interesting to see the keystones everyone's bringing. You do have a few champions with options in here. You do have like Conk versus Phase Rush on Hecarim, and you have Silas who can take about 4 different keystones as far as I recall. And Caitlyn, some of them like footwork, some of them like PTA. So it's going to be interesting. I think which keystones everyone's taking will reveal more about the strategy of what they're going for. Like if Graves and Echo are really going to try to just run everyone down and snowball themselves, I feel like we might see Dark Harvest from the Echo to really get that early like snowball going and get himself ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. I think personally, Silas, he could be going to Conqueror here. Echo, he does go for the Dark Harvest in the jungle a lot, but we're going to be surprised once we get into there. Either way. Would you like to take us out here for the spectator?
Hold on. Oh, something. Oh, Jesus, something's falling over. Sorry, something's falling over. But yeah, I guess we will be back with the spectator later. Over. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Full Services Plumbing Co. versus Don't Go Top. And now we are getting into our match for the day. Or first match of the day, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting into this one, and it's looking pretty exciting. You know, we were talking about those keystones earlier, and we were seeing the Electrocute actually coming out there on that Echo. What do you think about the Electrocute in this kind of a matchup?
I think the Electrocute will be good because for the early game skirmishes that I was thinking about, I was just, like we were theorizing, the Graves and Echo might try to just, or Graves, Echo, and Mordekaiser might collectively 2v2 or just 3v3 and just try to like run down topside and get themselves an early advantage. And the Electrocute adds quite a lot of early game burst damage. A lot of people underestimate it. So I feel like the Electrocute would be good for that. Another thing is we are seeing the footwork on the Caitlyn, which I found curious. I thought that FPCO was going to try to go for more aggressive bot lane. I thought they were going to try to have like the dominant 2v2 and just really run down Ashe and Maokai. And I figured maybe PTA or something like that would have been the more useful keystone than the more defensive footwork. But footwork's still good on Caitlyn, so there's nothing really wrong with it. Just not quite what I was expecting.
Yeah, I kind of like footwork most of the time on Caitlyn. I think a lot of Caitlyn mains do as well. You know, she has a harder time making more use of the other kinds of keystones. They really want more extended trades, whereas like Caitlyn really just wants to get in there with like one auto and really kind of just mess up your day with that single auto. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that, and that does make sense, though.
All right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of flexibility in it, but he has decided to go for the footwork, so that's what we're going with. And tempo on Ashe, pretty standard. Aftershock on both supports. Conquer on the Sylas, as you expected, as I expected as well. It's pretty standard for Oh,
yeah, it looks like Just Plunger has left the game. Are we going to get a pause here?
Oh, we have a pause here. Okay.
Leona DC'd. Sorry, we paused as Echo engaged. Ooh, yeah. If you don't know, that is a rule here in the Epic Risen Esports League. Don't really go for pauses when a fight engaged. I don't know if that's just a rule for this, and I'm pretty sure that's the thing basically everywhere, you know. But if someone DCs, you really can't kind of control that. Plus, it's more of a level 1 fight, so not really too much happening there. Other than that, you know, we are looking across the map, and, you know, I am kind of worried for this top lane matchup. We talked about how good it was going to be for Mordekaiser right there. He was going to eventually get outscaled there by that Malphite, but yeah, things are going to be pretty rough for him in that kind of a matchup. You know, he's already down almost all the CS and has that lane shoved into tower. So I'd really like to see some kind of pressure over here from the Hecarim if he doesn't want to get the rock way too far behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It's just Malphite is a champion who's useful when behind, but you don't want him to be too behind, you know? Like, the ultimate, it'll always do its thing, even if he is, you know, getting smashed in and is behind like 1,000 gold. His ultimate is still his ultimate, but it would probably be a lot easier for them if the Hecarim were to relieve some pressure from the Mordekaiser. But what I'm worried about is the Graves walking up and just matching, and Hecarim being caught in a 2v2 that he can't win. So.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. And we are going to need some readies coming out here in the chat, so we should get an unpause happening here in just a moment. Bring you back to that League of Legends action that we are all hoping to see. But so far, I think I'd like to take a second and look at this jungle pathing right now, you know? We are seeing... what's that?
I said exactly.
Yeah, we are seeing it looks like Hecarim's going from his red to his Krugs here, second camp. I would assume that means he's going for a full kind of clear, doing his entire bot side, moving all the way back up to the top. Whereas Graves actually looks like he went for that quick level 2 in that blue into Gromp and has immediately been going over there to his red. So maybe he hopes to invade the Hecarim here at his blue, actually before doing his own red. It looks like very aggressive here from that Graves.
Exactly, and he has a lot of priority in the top lane because that Malphite is just getting smashed under his turret. There's nothing really Malphite can do here, as we said before. I'd also like to point out the vision in the jungle. Both junglers had the other jungler's topside buff warded, so they both knew they were bot side. That's a flash from Echo. He's running down towards his bot lane. They do have priority at the moment. Will he be able to escape? Looks like Phase Rush Hecarim's just a little too fast, and that's Echo getting run down by Hecarim for the first blood. Did Sylas get assist on that? He did not. Ooh. Okay. The only gold difference in mid is actually going to be, Echo had it pushing in anyways, and he's got TP, so there's actually not a deficit for Echo. He just teleported back to lane, and he is now stronger than Sylas for the moment because he got his back off, though he didn't buy anything. He just has a trophy buff.
Yeah, only had about 10 CS, so 200 gold, can't really get too many useful items with that. Ooh, we are seeing the Graves invade here onto the Hecarim.
Sure is. All right. Hecarim smites the wolf for some health back. Sylas actually gets the big wolf. Will they get? They got some damage down on Sylas, but he's healing off the W, and Echo's backing out. So, as we predicted, we are seeing a lot of early aggression from the Graves and Echo and the Mordekaiser as well. They've just got a lot of prio, and they're trying to put it to best use they can, but it looks like they didn't get everything off that they hoped. They didn't get any sums out of them, and Silas is actually the one to take the Wolf camp. So Graves didn't actually take the gold from Hecarim.
Yeah, definitely. And we are seeing the fight here in the mid lane as well.
Silas, ooh, Echo doing a lot of damage to that Electrocute, like you mentioned earlier. His 3-hit passive proccing at the same time as Electrocute. That's a good few hundred extra damage coming in all at once.
Definitely. I will say, I think the Conqueror is going to help him a little bit later in some of those fights. You know, with the Conqueror, you really want more extended trades. You want to have a little bit more power to back you up right there, a little bit more health to run through. And that's really when you're going to start seeing it come in a lot more handy than that early Electrocute kind of a trade. But yeah, other than that, I wish we had more to talk about, but not too much happening right now. We are seeing Hecarim go for something here in this bot lane. But yeah, other than that, really nothing. And I gotta say, when you get some kind of games like these to not too much happening here in the early game, it does favor the one with the more late game drafts. So this is kind of good news here for FSPC.
I agree with you there, especially on the point about the Conqueror favoring him a lot later. You know, for now, the trades are short, but, like, once you get into late game and Silas's W starts to heal for a lot, and if he's able to steal, like, an Echo ultimate, with the healing on the ult, the healing from his W, the healing from Conqueror, he'll just be able to outlast Echo. So even though the Echo will be dangerous with the amount of damage he puts out, if this game goes on long enough, I just don't think it'll be enough to really burst out Silas. Though, either way it goes, it's either going to be a short fight and Echo wins, or it's going to be a long fight and Silas wins. He one-shots him or he doesn't.
Oh yeah, completely. Both these mid laners getting level 5. We should see level 6s come out here from the solo lanes fairly soon, you know?
Malphite just uses teleport up the top lane, which means he doesn't have it. Mordekaiser's asking, he does have the TP, we'll see if he uses it here. I was sort of expecting Malphite to just sack his lane TP bot and see if he can get some kills with his ult once he hits 6, but it appears he's using it to try to stay relevant in the lane phase. Understandable. He's got the Comet with a little bit of extra poke, so the lane, you know, it could be worse for him, but it's still, there is still the, oh, he actually isn't in a CS deficit, surprisingly. I'd say this Malphite's playing this lane exceptionally well, then.
It's hard to tell if he's really playing it well, but we are seeing a fight here in the mid lane happening as well.
He does have the Echo ultimate that he stole, which means at any point if Echo tries to go for the kill, he can just activate the ultimate. But while Hecarim is running around the mid lane, it looks like Red Side has decided to go and get themselves a dragon, but they are being contested. And with, we have to see the TP coming in from the Mordekaiser. This is why I was expecting Malphite to save his, so that something like this doesn't happen. Ooh, that is unfortunate for blue side, but it does mean the first Drake, not super impactful, but it is something going over to red side.
Yeah, trying to send your whole team for those early fights is really not something we predicted over there. From Don't Go Top, you know, we really thought when this full 5v5 it would be full service plumbing looking for the fights, but in the mid lane actually it would be the solo kill coming out there from that Silas. Wilderness, what are you doing on the Echo, man?
Unfortunately, doesn't look like Wilderness. I didn't see him ult if he did.
No, it looks like he's level 5, so he doesn't actually have his ult yet.
That's rough. Wow. When did he get such an experience deficit? That's really rough for him.
I'm not entirely sure. I think it was that first fight, you know, that he roamed a while to, missed a few CS under that tower. But other than that, he's level 5, Sinus is level 7. Really shouldn't be looking for fights without your ultimate and when that much of a deficit. And exactly. I mean, a few stacks on the Darksteel going his way as well. Really not looking too good there for the Echo.
Yeah, exactly. Now Silas, and see, when Silas has his lead, then that means it's probably going to be a lot harder for Echo to burst him out. And as we established before, if Echo doesn't one-shot Silas, the chances are he's not going to win in the 1v1. So that's great news for Silas. Though Echo does have the ultimate now, and Silas won't be able to steal his ult again for a while. So it's like Echo still has prio pushing. Yeah, priority. Looks like with mid-top prio, Graves is running into Hecarim's jungle. Oh, does he have the collateral damage? He does, and that's a kill for the Graves. Probably a blue buff as well. That is rough for Hecarim, but like we said, the Graves' early damage is going to be really rough for him to deal with.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, you know, you got to be warding up your jungle a little bit more. It seems like they had a lot of wards in the river, so they probably should have been able to spot this kind of invade. So, kind of just seems more like a misplay from Exalted Fig rather than a really good play from Little Diz. Yeah, you got to say, good job hitting your abilities, but Exalted Pig kind of seems like you're not playing how you should be, man.
I agree with you there. I think maybe Exalted was thinking, I'll just take the blue and then run away, but he just, he underestimated how quickly Graves would get there.
Okay.
Well, he was actually taking the Gromp when Graves walked up, so that's not even it. So I don't really know what he was doing there, but...
Yeah, it looks like another fight.
Exactly, and this... Nice dodge! Graves flashing the wall to dodge the heck out of malls. And looks like everyone on red side gets out scot-free, other than the flash, obviously. But that is a huge play for Graves and Echo, and like we said earlier, this is just them flexing their power in the 2v2. I'm surprised Ashe and Leona have had priority over the spot lane. I expected, or Ashe and Maokai, sorry, that have had priority over the bot lane. I think Mordekaiser just missed his Q off his own E.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he missed
but he is going to get held tonight. He's getting pretty low.
He's missing an unfortunate amount of his own Qs. Oh, hit that one, though. Oh, flashing, waiting out the W cooldown. Is the Comet going to kill? The Comet's not going to kill. I think he's waiting out his W cooldown, because if he could have shielded there, he just could have killed Malphite.
Yeah, Malphite does still have his flash, actually, so he could have looked for something, but it's going to be the Ashe here actually being thrown into the mid lane, into the top lane, and missing, unfortunately.
Those missed Qs really decided that trade. That's really unfortunate for Mordekaiser. Lost his flash, lost his ult, and missed the... And, had to back up a little bit. Oh, no, actually, Malphite's one resetting, so Mordekaiser doesn't lose the wave or anything, but... Kind of unfortunate for him. He should have had a kill there. Plus, I do believe that the Mordekaiser ultimate has a longer cooldown than the Unstoppable Force, at least at this level, maybe?
I'm not entirely sure of the exact cooldown, but that would make sense. Either way, we are seeing just continuation of fights here in the mid lane. Hecarim's trying to make something happen, though.
Ooh. Gets the Echo's flash. Forces him back. And yeah, we're really seeing it. Echo goes in, deals about half of Sylas's health. Looks scary for Sylas, but then he just starts hitting his ability. The Conqueror stacks up. He starts getting his W heals off, and just Echo doesn't have the consistent damage to counter just how durable Sylas is for an assassin.
Yeah, completely. Ooh, and he actually is going to be stealing that Echo ultimate. So good in that 1v1. But you know what's even better than winning a 1v1? Taking your opponent's entire topside jungle, which is basically what we're seeing from the Graves right now. Just getting such a CS lead over Hecarim. I think 5 camps up right here in this kind of a jungle gap. That's not something you want to be seeing every day.
About that, yeah. And he has the Rift Herald, which, considering he has priority in mid and top and bottom, he has priority in all 3 of his lanes. He will probably have a lot of good opportunities to use that Herald. I wonder what kind of itemization we'll see from the Graves. Do you think we'll see the lethality build with how aggressive he's playing?
No, I think we're probably going to see a Black Cleaver coming out here, second item from this guy. Looks like he did go for that dagger, making me think that he's probably going to be going for the Berserker Greaves, but now he's going for the double longsword. I think there is a lot of value in going for that one jungle item or support item that gives you all the vision. And do you know what it's called? Yeah, that's it. But that's I think in this kind of a matchup, a Black Cleaver would just be so useful in shredding all those tanks and keeping alive against that initial burst. Ooh, big Asher coming out.
And that is the Hecarim ult used to disengage. The Maokai ult goes through wide, though pushes everyone back a little bit. I was thinking about Graves buying the Umbral Glaive because just of how much time what is that big white... Oh, it's TP. So I couldn't see the ward he was TPing to. I could only see the TP line. I was like, is that a Lux ultimate? What is that? It's 2 squishies. Hits the carry. That's good for blue side here, being able to hit the Graves, the most valuable member on the red side at the moment. Will they be able to win the fight? Nope. Sylas burst out before he can get much healing off. That's the carries on blue side down. Looks like red side's going to clean this fight up. Very well played by red side, actually. I think they did pretty much everything that they should have there. They were able to hit everything they could on the carries. Maybe a bit of an overstep by Graves getting hit by that Malphite ultimate. I feel like maybe he could have positioned a little better to avoid him and Ashe both getting hit by the same unstoppable force. The AoE isn't very large, but for the most part, I'd say that the fight was played pretty well by them, and they were able to pick up kills and the dragon.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, when going into this game, we projected in the full 5v5s that FSPC would have the advantage there. And I think I want to explain why I think that one was a little bit of an anomaly there. First of all, they have a much larger lead on the side of BGT. They were able to bring their entire team to that dragon fight much quicker. And they really weren't working with their tools on FSPC. We predicted Sylas would be going for one of these big team fight ultimates, like the Maokai ult or the Ashe ult to help him out in this fight. Unfortunately, they did not have that available for them. He did go for that Echo ultimate earlier, wasn't able to be as useful in that fight as we really predicted he would be. And also just not having the exact same setup, really being prepared to take these fights, I think, is really what killed them. They weren't able to start off the fight where they wanted. They ended up giving up the dragon. They ended up going in one at a time, really not going at a fight in the coordinated fashion that we really hope to be seeing from these later team fights from FSPC. However, their one saving grace is that they do have a weaker early game. Usually you can get away with giving away those first 2 dragons to the team with the stronger early game. So FSPC looking to bring it around here at this 3rd dragon fight is really what I'm going to be looking for these guys.
I agree with you there, and I think just to call back on something we said earlier about Don't Go Top being able to just split up FSPC here. That's pretty much what happened there, because if you remember the very beginning of the fight started with Hecarim getting caught out by himself. He got caught by an Ashe Arrow. He had to use the Hecarim ult to disengage. Speaking of disengage, Silas trying to get away from Echo and Graves here. Silas able to use the Echo ultimate closer to his tower. Graves does not have the damage. Oh, he has collateral. He has the ultimate up, maybe? Does Echo still have his ult? He does. And Graves getting the snipe with the collateral damage. That is such a strong ability. Such long range, such high damage. It's quite crazy. But yeah, so with the fight on the Dragon, like I mentioned, FSPC just got split up really badly, and they didn't have Hecarim ult, which is one of their big team fight tools available to them. He used it to get away from the bot lane before the fight started. So the fight started off with them being low health, split up, and missing some vital team fight cooldowns, which is exactly the situation that DGT wanted to put them in, and it worked out perfectly for them there. But we'll see if they can get it consistently for the next objective.
Yeah, I completely agree. And going back to that play we saw right there, really, really good 2v2 there against that Hecarim under that tower. I didn't think they would have had the damage tip, but they do manage to get that Hecarim kill. And that first tier 1 tower mid, very, very big objective, opening up a lot of the map there for DGT. We do have another dragon here, about a minute and a half, so we should start looking for teams to get these backs on, be prepared for these fights, because that's what we're seeing over there. From DGT, getting some backs off at very, very crucial times right here. Has that Essence Reaver and another Agility Cloak available on that Ashe. Whereas it kind of looks like we're still looking like our first item here for that Caitlyn. It's working with 1,200 gold in the inventory, so we should probably look for that back right about now.
And there it is, the back, right as you predicted. With the Graves having just been running amok in Hecarim's topside this entire game, basically Graves has 3 quadrants of his own jungle. You know, Hecarim only really had his red side to work with. So with the mid tower falling, that's just even more accessibility for Graves, and this blue side jungle on the other half of the map is just effectively his now. They don't even have a turret to hide behind. We do see Maokai roaming up towards the top lane. I wonder if they're looking for a dive here and then turning it into a tower. It seems pretty probable, just to completely open the top side of the map for GGT.
Yeah, it would be pretty big. Unfortunately, I do think what they do want to be doing is heading over to this 3rd dragon fight, potentially getting a dragon soul for your team, or soul point, excuse me, is very, very big for opening up the macro when you see the barons eventually starting to spawn. Ooh, but getting a pick would be very, very big as well.
Ooh, exactly. Leona face checks the bush, gets absolutely destroyed.
Oh.
Ashe Arrow hits. That was a fat hitbox. Okay. And it looks like the Hecarim isn't... Oh, is he fast enough? Not quite. Okay, so we see every ultimate is up on red side, except for Graves and Ashe, which are 2 of the most important ones. But we do see the Maokai ultimate still up. So if FSPC wants to walk up and contest, they will have to worry about the root from that coming through on them. Though I don't think they'll be contesting. They're missing their bot lane anyways. So this is another good series of picks from DGT, just forcing FGC out of their 5v5 that they're comfortable in, and just not giving them the game state that they're looking for right now. But as we said earlier, they do have the better late game, and we'll see if they can just wait it out. But that's 3 dragons in a row for DGT, and quite a commanding lead.
Yeah, that's not looking too good over here for FSPC. Usually it's the first 2 dragons that you can't... I talked about this earlier, but usually it's the first 2 dragons that you can give away for free. But the 3rd dragon, about 15 minutes, 16 minutes into the game, is really where you try to make your stand as a team with the stronger late game or better scaling. But we do have a fight here in the top lane. Things are not looking good for Malphite.
Oh, they'll use the Unstoppable Force to slide on out of there. But it looks like they got 4 people, which means they will most likely be getting the turret and the Herald.
Ooh, yeah, sending a lot of people there into that top lane. Really just trying to spread their sphere of influence from what they've been able to accomplish so far in this game. And I gotta say, as the team with the stronger 5v5 team fight, I'd really like to see them abandon this bot lane a little bit more, abandon the top lane, really go for more fights around the middle of the map. This is not what they want to be doing if they want to be surviving in this game and not having it end at like 25 minutes, you know, as soon as they get that first Baron.
That's curious. We see a Ghost Blade coming through for Graves, meaning he is going for lethality, but not going for Umbral Glaive, as we expected. I would have liked to see the Umbral Glaive here, and just the way this Graves is playing, the vision control is very important for him, and it's a very cost-effective item. It's very cheap. But the Ghost Blade coming through looks like he just wants to commit to the damage and lethality build, just playing Assassin Graves, which it's been working for him so far, so I suppose I don't see why not. You see Ashe just trying her best to hold the turret down 2v1 down in the bot lane, and the top lane tier 1 turret is falling to Mordekaiser, as well as the turret.
Yeah, definitely. I think the advantage that you get from the Ghost Blade here, again, I don't think it's optimal. I think Black Cleaver would definitely be the pickup here for Graves, but with something like the Ghost Blade, he's able to be so far across the map that basically all the time. Ooh, big play here in the bot lane. Wow.
Oh, what an outplay! That was amazing!
Oh, yeah.
Dodging all the CC, catching the Caitlyn under the turret. Oh, Leona's just gonna... poor Leona. That was depressing.
Yeah, that feels kind of bad right there. But boy, what a play there from that Ashe. Getting the arrow under the Caitlyn, who... It looks like things would be very, very easy for that bot lane duo. Unfortunately, she does get stunned under the turret with that Ashe arrow and takes so much damage.
Outplay looks like he'll be that as well. After as nope, not quite enough damage to finish him off, but Mordekaiser did pop the ult in the top lane and force Malphite out. But Mordekaiser cannot press his advantage as Sylas is coming up, but Sylas is spotted out of the wall, so Mordekaiser will be back in that game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Either way, we are looking at an improved game state right here. You know, they're just getting so many advantages across the map on all the people we really want to see advantages on. You know, Ashe, I didn't expect her to be able to pull that kind of play in the bot lane. Graves in the jungle, he's certainly going to get a lot for himself. I don't really agree with what he's building, but he is getting a lot of pressure here off the map. And with this next dragon up here in about 1:40, you want to see some big things coming out here from FSPC if you don't want to see this game just ending almost immediately.
I have something that I've noticed, and that's that FSPC has never gotten a team fight where they've gotten to group as 5 and enter the fight with like full health bars and full cooldowns. They've always been entering fights missing a member or down 2 ultimates or already at half health. DGT is just not giving them the game state that they planned their comp around. And I honestly expected things to go better for FSPC's bot lane, but I just have to give it to DGT's bot lane. They've been outplaying them. Speaking about the way people have been playing, Graves unfortunately face-checking a bush and getting 3v1'd.
Yeah, I say now that they actually have Malphite with their team, they can look for those kind of plays early. He's one of those champions that's harder to pick up because of his tankiness, and is very, very good at picking off someone before these fights, like we just saw. You know, again,
Graves
probably wouldn't have happened if Graves.
He's walking on boards.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have happened if Graves had a little bit of extra health in his build. Maybe something like a Black Cleaver could have helped him do that. But either way. Looks like even though they got that pick on the jungle, they're really not grouping around that dragon. They send Malphite back into that top lane. He does have that teleport available, but he's not really going for it. I'm not entirely sure what the play is right here. We should be trying to get as much vision around the dragon from both teams as possible right now.
Interestingly enough, Graves does look like he's building a Black Cleaver. Wait, he has 2 daggers. That's a Triforce.
Oh, He built a Phantom Dancer for just a second, then unbuilt it, hit that undo button in the shop, and then bought the Phage instead.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's probably going to build it into a Phantom Dancer again. I doubt he's going to build a Triforce. That seems a little bit troll for me. But he is going to drop that Rift Herald into the mid lane and immediately go onto that Dragon. This is a big win condition for his team.
You're right. And I was wondering what he was doing with the second dagger, because I thought the first dagger was for Berserkers. I imagine we both did. But then he bought a second one. We have a huge fight through here. Looks like the Caitlyn is dead. The Sylas is dead. This is probably going to go the way of DGT because FSPC's carries are dead. So even though their tanks were able to survive a little bit longer, but it didn't really matter. All their damage was dead. And it looks like DGT is able to they're just so far ahead. Every one of them just does so much damage. They're just able to clean the fight out in a clean 4-5 or 1-5 ace and get the Dragon Soul.
Yeah, you know, it's really great being able to have an outscaling comp and a better team fight, but it's really hard to outscale just such a strong early game lead, you know, and getting that kind of a lead is something you have to be a little bit more practiced on doing. But what it is going to mean is the Dragon Soul going the way of DGT as well as those first 4 dragons, and so much gold. They get the mid lane inhibitor. They basically almost got a Nexus. They do
that
get a
Herald
Nexus turret.
Should not have gotten another turret. Should not have gotten another charge. It was at 70 health in front of the
yeah, you know, just auto attack it once doesn't seem like something that's really happening.
She could have autoed that thing where she was standing. That's a little curious. But
yeah,
we do see the reset coming through from DGT, and what I expect to happen here is they're going to reset, they're going to buy, and then they're going to set up vision around Baron and look for the end. Because either they take the Baron and they just siege an end, or FSPC tries to fight them for the Baron. They will lose that fight unless some miracle happens, and then DGT gets to end. So, if DGT moves towards Baron, we will see the end of the game. Echo is walking towards the bot lane, but he does have his teleport up, so he will be there for the fight. Teleport's down for up, just up for both mid laners.
Yeah, sounds good to me. They should be playing around for vision of this Baron, try to get one kind of a pick right here. Don't look for the full 5v5, because I think that might be where FSPC can potentially come back in this. But get a pick and go for the Baron and then go for the end right there. No need to go for any kind of fancy macro with this.
Exactly, and we do see the Black Cleaver finish for the Graves, so now he's a bit tanky. And there's one thing I'd like to point out about the Ghost Blade, and while I still don't think it's optimal, Ghost Blade with Phase Rush means if he pops that active, he will be very fast. Unless there's like a Leona or something CCing him, like if he were to jump on Caitlyn, there's absolutely no chance she gets away from him.
Yeah, I completely agree. Either way, we are seeing, it looks like we're going for some kind of a macro split here in the bot lane. We're sending 4 people there trying to get that bot lane tier 2. For some reason, I'm not entirely sure what they're really going to accomplish by getting this. They should be looking to go for the Barons with all that mid lane pressure they have, but we're looking for
and we did. The Echo Stun comes through, hitting 2 people. I believe Maokai ulted as well, snaring 3 members. Ashe is gone, but so is Malphite, and it looks like Hecarim comes in, fears a few members. Echo's still alive, still has the doesn't get to ult. The Caitlyn damage is just too much. Pops the Echo before he can even activate his R. Graves is still alive, though I don't think he can't exactly 3v1. And Maokai might get the 1 kill, but I think Maokai is Silas W heals a little too much. Maokai gets cleaned up as well. Good execution from FSPC. I'm not quite sure why DGT was bot lane, to be honest. You were talking about it before, and there's just not much to be gained from going down there. I don't know why they were there, really.
Yeah, especially when your top laner doesn't have that teleport, really, for that fight. They saw that Malphite wasn't top lane. They saw that they would be fighting that one uneven. But they're basically trading 4 kills for a single tower, which doesn't really seem like a good trade to me.
Especially with the Echo teleport up, why is he the one for your team? If you're going to 4-1 and you have a teleport up, I do believe that it should be the person whose teleport is up that is the solo laner, so that you can teleport in case of a team fight. But Echo was with the team, and Mordekaiser wasn't, so DGT getting punished for the questionable macro decision. But we do see them resetting. They are still in a definite lead, and they're going to be looking to clean up. Now they're moving towards the Baron. So now we might see them end the game as they should have. But, yeah.
Yeah, we are seeing them posturing towards that Baron. They do have Caitlyn there in that bot lane, so I think they could just go for the Baron right there, but it looks like they do want to get that safe pick beforehand. Do get that Hecarim ultimate out. He does have to use it defensively, so I think they could just go for the Baron right here, but they will try to use the Mordekaiser ultimate pick off that Malphite.
Crystal Arrow goes wide, though, trying to hit the Hecarim and missing, but Unstoppable Force is down, Hecarim's ultimate is down, which means that pretty much every engage tool, or most of them except for Solar Flare, that's down. So pretty much every engage ultimate on the side of FSPC is down. So I believe that if DGT were to just take Baron here, as they are, I don't really think that Blue Side has a way of contesting them. All of their ultimates are down. They don't have a great way of engaging other than Hecarim just running towards someone.
Yeah, and with this Baron getting solo, it looks like it's going to be a pretty free pickup. We do have the Elder Dragon in a minute and a half, but with that Baron buff, things are looking very, very rough here for FSPC. The one saving grace is they are going to have that mid lane inhibitor respawning here in just about a minute, so they won't have too many more super minis funneling into that base. Ooh, managed to pick up a blue buff. Nah, he doesn't get it.
Interesting use of the collateral damage there. All 4 of the teleports in the game are up, so what I believe we might see here is a 1-3-1 from DGT with their solo laners in the side lanes using their teleport, and the other 3 just going down mid, so they have Baron minions in every lane. I think in that situation, FSPC doesn't have a whole lot of great wave clear, so I think it'd actually be pretty difficult for them to respond to the 3-lane Baron push. Do see the pick from the Ashe Arrow, but not a whole lot of follow-up at the moment. FSPC was picked up pretty well, so and that arrow landed on their tank, so it wasn't a whole lot they could do. I think it was going for the bot lane because I don't think the Malphite was in vision.
Yeah, 30 seconds till this Elder Dragon spawns. Very, very deep there. from that Echo. He's going to have his ultimate back here in very, very soon. It's very low cool, and especially with 20% CDR. But looks like they're going for the mid lane. I'm not entirely sure. What kind of macro are we looking at right now?
I'm not either, though, as I mentioned before, all of our teleports are still up, so it's weird to see them playing ARAM right now. We do see the stopwatch come through from the Sylas, but once he gets out, he's just dead. He is deep behind enemy lines. I'm sorry, Sylas, there's not much of a way out of that other than the Thresh Lantern that you don't have the luxury of having.
Yeah, now it kind of looks like a split call right here. They're trying to go for the inhibitor, but Graves is pinging that Elder, saying it is the free objective for them to go right there. So I hope they go for this Elder and then immediately go into the mid lane, you know, when they still have both of these buffs. You know, have that Elder for the push and have that, or have the Baron for the push and have the Elder for the potential team fight victory. Ooh, big pick here on Hecarim.
You're right, the Hecarim's dead, and Echo is still pushing bot lane. So that turret's dead, Echo Baron buffing the entire minion wave as it looks like, oh, Echo's leaving the bot lane. Or he actually is just setting up for...
It was a bait.
Bait, no. Unfortunately, not catching any fish today, but Echo is still pressuring that bot lane, forcing... Because if Leona leaves Caitlyn's side, Echo just dies. Oh, looks like they're actually going to 3 people in bot lane. Graves, unfortunately, queuing directly into a wall. But
yeah, they do have that double cannon minion, so that is making quick work of that inhibitor tower right there. They still have the Elder buff, so they really can't afford to fight this, and that is a very low Nexus tower. Things are looking bad for FSPC.
With the double Epic Monster buffs, I don't exactly see a way for FSPC to fight them right now, unless DGT runs headfirst into the Nexus, but... yeah, it looks like this might just be the end of the game here. You see Echo with a big stun coming through, but most of his team's just focused on clearing waves. Ultimates coming through, doesn't matter. The Elder Burn's just so strong. Crystal Arrow goes wide, but it doesn't matter. And that is the game for DGT.
Yeah, DGT with a very, very strong game one right here. And I gotta say, I did not predict this one to go the way it did. You know, it looked like FSPC, they had a much easier to execute comp. Unfortunately, what we did not predict was Little Dizzy in that jungle. You know, he was basically taking 3 quadrants of the jungle. He was winning almost every single fight there for his team. And I don't know, it kind of seems like a misplay by FSPC. You know, we really would have hoped for them to avoid more fights, not give up too much early, really send the whole team to that 3rd dragon. And unfortunately, it just does not happen from those guys.
Yeah, they never really had the vision, they never really had the macro, and they didn't have any winning lanes. So against an early game snowball composition like the one DGT is running, you can bleed a little bit, but you have to make sure not to give them too much. And unfortunately, instead of bleeding just a little bit, FSPC just got cut wide open. They were hemorrhaging. So
yeah, I completely agree. So I want to ask you, what do you think they got to do here for game 2 if they want to come back?
I think, frankly, they might want to switch up a comp if they're not comfortable playing a 5-man like engage comp, because it looked like they were constantly trying to split and play a bit like spread out. So either draft towards that playstyle or switch their playstyle towards what they want to play. As well as, you know, there were just some mechanical errors that I saw from FSP, and there were some errors that DGT well, but I don't think FSPC exploited them well enough. So I feel like, you know, this is maybe it sounds a little dumb to say.
Whatever, man. Yeah. Either way, it is going to be a best of 5 series, so they do have the opportunity to, you know, switch it around, analyze their mistakes, and really hope to bring it back for game 2 of this potential 5-game series. But this was going to be the end of game 1, going the way of DGT here against Full Service Plumbing Co. I'm Danielson524 here with Justice, and if you want to see some more League of Legends action here at the Rampage Premade semifinal, you had better stick around.